The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all, the few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
and so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. To you, one and all of you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites, here it is, Thursday morning, September number 14 in the year of our Lord 2017. Welcome aboard. Call-in hotline number this morning is 603-835-3226. You can utilize that anytime during the next 3 hours or so, and we'll pick up in... it's Thursday. We're almost halfway through September. Can anybody tell me what Congress has done, what bills Congress has passed, both the House and Senate, and sent to the president's desk? I mean, honestly, can anybody name anything? Name anything major. Anything that's part of the president, that was part of the president's agenda. Can anybody name any bill that the House and Senate passed and sent to the desk for signature, the president's desk for signature, to pass into law? I'm having a hard time thinking of something. Now, there may be some minor little crappy little issues that mean nothing, but I'm having a hard time finding any or thinking of anything that's really part of his platform in the president's agenda. So I'm just wondering. I don't know. I can't think of anything. So with that said, what exactly is, Ryan doing and McConnell doing, and why are they, folks? I know we've gone over this over and over and over and over again. But I'm gonna keep saying it until you get it through your thick heads out there. Now, some of you have gotten it, and some of you have not. And the reason why I say some of you have not is because you're still supporting the incumbents out there who aren't doing jack. Instead, you're making fun of Ted Cruz. Yeah, I don't really care about what Ted. I love this stuff. That the Twitter storm yesterday about Ted Cruz, or earlier this week. That I guess it involved the sex robots. Yeah, I guess. Well, Ted Cruz obviously isn't such a stiff after all. Double entendre intended. He can make fun of himself. He could laugh at himself, and other people are doing just fine, doing that too. I don't understand. Why do we spend so much time on this stuff? Ted Cruz has never come across as being. He's claims to be a dedicated Christian. Got it. But he's never claimed to be a dyed-in-the-wool stuffed shirt type of Christian. Where you talk about and do everything, behind closed doors and in public. You're this staid, non-smiling, unhappy type of person. Anybody notice those types of Christians? They're like leftists. They're always angry about something. They're never happy. They're constantly, berating everybody else out there, not living up to the standards of God. Well, the whole purpose of Jesus Christ is because God knows that not a single human being can live up to the standards of God. It's why we have Jesus Christ. It's why there was a whole system of forgiveness before Christ came along. Because God knew that there was no way in hell mankind could stand up to the standards of God. So to be a Christian or anybody else out there who's a Bible thumper, beating people over the head constantly because they're not living up to the standards of God, neither are you. So the whole thing with Ted Cruz it's hilarious. So we're willing to talk about and make go viral something that Ted Cruz said that had something to do with a sex robot. And that includes leftists. That's really funny. What Ted Cruz said or posted or intended to post or didn't intend to post. But the very fact that you have people like Nancy Pelosi, who is melting down before our eyes, and nobody on the left wants to talk about it. In fact, they want to reelect her. Nobody wants to talk about Nancy Pelosi constantly melting down, constantly mispronouncing words or getting people's names wrong or getting the definition of words wrong, using obviously the wrong words at the wrong time. This woman is displaying all the classic signs of what? Of an age-related mental disorder like Alzheimer's or dementia. Again, I'm not a doctor, medical doctor, or mental health professional, so I can't make a professional diagnosis. But when they tell you to start looking for signs of, for certain diseases, then they're telling us that we, the general uneducated, untrained medically and mental professionals, if we're untrained, these are signs that we can still pick up and detect to help people get the proper help that they need. Now, why is it okay for them to go out there and tell us, well, these are the signs that you should look for, even when it comes to stroke, look for signs of droopy face and all this kind of stuff, and get these people some medical attention as soon as possible if you see this. So if we're told that we can notice this kind of stuff, if we're told through, public service announcements, aka PSAs, that we can pick up signs of this stuff, we should pay attention to signs of this stuff and get people to help as quickly as possible. Why is it that we're being told that we don't know what the hell we're talking about when it comes to Nancy Pelosi? Shouldn't there be somebody out there in the crowd who's getting Nancy the medical attention and medical help that she needs? Why are we not talking? We'll talk about everybody else. We'll talk about Ted Cruz's language faux pas and him liking a tweet because it has to do with, I don't know, a sex robot, I guess. Get over it. Ted Cruz liking a tweet about a sex robot is not policy. Is not trying to establish laws. Nancy Pelosi, who could possibly have Alzheimer's and or dementia or some other age-related mental disorder, is trying to affect policy and law in this country, but in which the rest of us live by. Why are we not paying attention to that? I'm just asking the question here. I mean, Nancy Pelosi there's obviously something. I know people are probably saying, well, there's something wrong with, some of her buddies too. Well, look, Dianne Feinstein and Maxine Waters, I don't think that they have any age-related mental disorders happening to them. They're just nuts. They're just idiots. They're just Valley girls. They're ignorant boobs. Double entendre not intended. Because a male can be an ignorant boob too. Who was the black Democratic leader that thought that you could flip over an island if you put too many people? He was dead serious about it. They say inane and stupid stuff like this, and they think that they're coming off and sounding like they're extremely erudite and extremely well-educated. These people are ill-educated. But yet we keep them in office. Why is that? Surely you Democrats, surely you leftists can find people who are smarter than Maxine Waters or Dianne Feinstein to put in office. Surely you can find, I mean, the reality is I'm glad that you don't, but surely you can find people who are smarter than these people. What is it about certain not just Democrats, by the way, but what is it about certain politicians? How is it that they keep getting elected? How is it? How is it that we keep supporting them? I mean, honestly, who really is supporting Maxine Waters? Honestly, who really is still supporting Nancy Pelosi? I mean, come on. Honestly, as much as we've heard and as much as we Republicans dislike, who the hell is still supporting Mitch McConnell? Hey, is anybody really seriously asking these questions? Okay, how are these idiots constantly getting reelected? If nobody really wants them anymore, if we keep saying we don't want them reelected, how are they still there? What the hell is going on? How is it that they're still around, that they're still being reelected, they're still in office, they're still doing things against the Constitution and against the American people, and they're still lying to us, they're still telling tales? How is it that they're still in power? How is it that they're still there? I was thinking about this yesterday, late yesterday. Out of all the politicians that we supposedly hate, I mean, we keep talking about on both sides of the political aisle. There are certain people that we constantly berate and constantly talk about. So it's not really feasible to think that the people who are voting for these that don't know the records. I mean, it's hard to believe. So you got to ask, who keeps supporting these people? How are they gaining or getting or keeping their support? How does a congressman honestly, seriously believe that an island will flip over if too many human beings are on one side of it? How is it that a politician can't get names straight or is constantly, it sounds like that she's got dementia or Alzheimer's? Now, we got Nancy Pelosi, who supposedly has, she's supposed to be straightforward and fully 100% healthy. But these same people were disparaging Ronald Reagan the day that he took his first oath of office. Oh, he's got Alzheimer's already. You remember that? I mean, well, some of us weren't really adults or paid attention back then. But remember that? You can go back and look this stuff up. It's easy to find. So I know we can say, well, Rod, well, Democrats are hypocritical, but that doesn't explain it. That may be a cause, but that doesn't fully explain it. It just doesn't fully explain how the hell We keep supporting people, and we keep reelecting people that nobody seems to want. Maybe that's why nobody really wants to dig into voter fraud, even on the Republican side.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
And now a message from our sponsor. Ladies, tired of drying your hair with the same old vacuum cleaner? Try Avon Shave brand new Beauty Locks portable hair dryer. It's smaller, it's faster, it's guaranteed to give you the hair you've always wanted in half the time. Beauty Locks is delicate and dainty, just like you. The dryer weighs only a pound and easily fits in your hands. Now that's beauty and convenience. With a speedy motor that will dry your hair in as little as 25 minutes, you can get gorgeous hair without falling behind schedule. Don't worry about the little ones or that pie in the oven. Thanks to an extra-long extension cord, you can move around while primping your locks. Forget those long trips to the salon and no more waiting for hours under monster machines. Avon Shea gives you an easy and speedy hairdo that will blow your man away. Get it now at your nearest Macy's.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
Not exactly sure what it's going to take in order to get people we've got this commission here, or the Trump had his commission here, his voter fraud commission here, and we had a bunch of people here, that, local politicians and politicos, saying our election system was fine, and but within the margin of error, within the margin of potential fraud is what they've found, means a difference in who actually won some elections here in this state. Now, you had some people who were on the air in this state talking about, Trump is only bringing to light that he lost the popular vote. No, he's not. I mean, they're missing the whole point. On purpose, by the way. They're missing the whole point on purpose. If there really were 5 million illegal votes, And Hillary Clinton only won the popular vote by 2 or 3 million. Did she really win the popular vote? Answer is no. So, if I were Trump, I'd be hammering this a lot harder. I'd be going after this a lot stronger. I'd be trying to prove like you would not believe, because the numbers are out there. I'd be proving left and right that there really were that many illegal votes, thus putting into question and doubt Hillary's dominance in the popular vote, even in California. Just saying. I mean, there's no doubt that these people have pulled some shenanigans, and that they continue to pull shenanigans on both sides of the political. I'm not just blaming Democrats on this, folks. And this is the only way that you would explain how some people can continually get reelected. Here, before I get too far into this, let me bring into the fold the song, the military tribute song of the day.
That's it. You sure you want to be here? Yes, I do. Are you absolutely sure? I'm positive. Whatever you have to do, just find an excuse to win. Keep going. It pays to be a winner.
Screaming from heaven. On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Hillary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
403-835-3226. One of the things that the left often does is they often talk about giving out free stuff, government-sponsored stuff, having somebody else pay for your life, your stuff. College tuition. Yeah, free college. We know it's not free. And what's the reason behind it? Well, because they say going to a private school like Harvard or Dartmouth or Yale or Princeton or even some of the other more fancy state schools in quasi-state schools like UCLA and Berkeley and Kent State and all these wonderful places of institutes of higher learning where tuition is astronomical. Now, not once do these people ever talk about they talk about the high cost of education as far as, well, all these wonderful students are indebted up to their wazoos with student loan debt by going to these places. But not once do I hear them chastising the educational institutions for overcharging them. Not once do I hear them chastising the educational institutions for offering and foisting upon them fake degrees that are basically meaningless and useless outside of academia. Where are you going to? I know I utilize this example quite often, and it's a little exaggerated, not by much, by the way. If you were to go to some of these colleges and just look at their coursework and look at their degree programs, you would realize that I'm not exaggerating too much when I talk about getting a bachelor's degree in underwater historical watercolor art. I'm not far off the mark. That's how useless and inane some of these degree programs are. And they're only useful in academia. In other words, if you're going to go get underwater historical watercolor art degrees, then the only thing you're going to be able to do with that degree is teach historical underwater watercolor art. Really? So, and you're just going to be out there teaching a whole bunch of other people how to be teachers that teach, underwater historical watercolor art. Because there is no real practical use of it in the real world. But we have a lot of these kind of degrees. I'm looking at some of these degrees sometimes, at some of these institutions, and I'm thinking, what? This was not around when I was, so-called college age. I love how we give a certain age to college students. What is college age? Oh, it's college age 18 to 21, right? 18 to 22, that's college age. No, it's not. There are lots of people beyond the age of 22 who are in college. So we need to get rid of that notion too. Sure, probably a majority in many colleges, not all. Depends on the college too. If you're going to your local community college, I bet your average age is above 18 to 22. Honestly, I bet you it is. And I bet you if you go to any institute of higher learning that has advanced degrees like masters and PhDs, their average age is also above age 22. So what is a 30-year-old now college age? I'm just asking. But we have this notion, the left has this notion that somebody else should pay their overpriced college education. They have this idea that the wealthy, meaning middle class, most likely you and me, those of us who get up every single day and work our little tushies off on a daily basis, fill out our tax forms every April 15th and send them in. And many of us probably slightly overpay our taxes so we don't get audited. Those hardworking people are the wealthy, according to the leftists. They want you to pay more in taxes in order to help pay for free stuff, like free college tuition. Okay, now, college tuition, you're actually paying someone at their rate by the way. There's nobody telling a college, well, hey, these are state colleges that they're talking about. So everybody's getting their rate. Nobody's getting a cut in pay. But nobody says you have a right to a college education, do they? They just say that even Bernie Sanders doesn't say you have a right to a college education, but that you shouldn't have to pay for at least the first 2 years of it. Maybe even longer. But when it comes to health care, all of a sudden all that's out the window. Now it's a human right. Every human being has the right to decent health care. And every human being has the exact same right to the exact same kind of health care. So in other words, a rich person who can afford the best that there is shouldn't be allowed to either pay for it or get the best that there is, because the poor person can't get the same thing unless the government pays for it. Because you have a right to that. Well, I have, and I'm bringing this up because now you have Bernie Sanders and a few others introducing single-payer legislation. Single-payer health care legislation. Because, everybody has a right to health care. Let me destroy this for us, right here, right now. Once and for all. Now, I know that everybody who probably listens to this has a logic, logically knows that this is, that this whole notion about healthcare being a right is illogical. It's dumb, it's stupid. And there are even some people on the left who are coming to realize that this is just dumb. Well, let me give it to you in practical terms why it is not a right. Now, I'm not saying that people should not be able to get good, decent, top-of-the-line medical care. I'm telling you that they do not have a right to it. Because if you believe that they have a right to it, then that means that you believe in conscription. Let's just say that maybe, let's just say, put it out there. I'm not, but let's just say I am a doctor, medical doctor. Let's just say I am a physician. What you're telling me is that I should become and that you are supporting slavery. Because you're conscripting me. You're telling me that because this person has a right to medical care, that you can come to my house, come to my, crawl up on my porch and knock on my door and demand that I treat you right then and there. And that if I don't, that you have the ability to send the police to my door, drag me to the hospital against my will, in handcuffs if necessary, and force me to treat you at the hospital. And if I demand honest, fair payment for my services, you are there to tell me, well, I'm only going to give you a ham because I have a right to your knowledge, to your training, to your abilities. But you're not saying you have a right to the food that you get at the grocery store. You're not saying you have there are some people saying that you have a right to water, and, nobody should sell water. It should all be given freely. But in other words, what you are talking about is conscription and slavery. You honestly, I have told you folks this time and time again, that slavery's home is in the left, is in the Democrat Party. And and just like everybody else in government, it kind of like taxes. They hide taxes everywhere. I do not care what the government calls it. They could call it a license, a fee, a toll. It doesn't matter if it is income that if it's money that the government is charging that you have to pay, and the money is going to the government, it is a tax, no matter what they call it. Conscription of any kind, forcing somebody to give up their knowledge, their experience, simply because you think you have a right to it, is slavery. These are the people who basically were behind slavery, 160 years ago. They're still behind slavery. In fact, they're still endorsing slavery by hiding it. Now, make no mistake about it. If you are a doctor under a single payer plan, they will tell you what kind of medicine that you are going to practice and where you are going to practice it. Hey, you don't want to live in Podunk, Indiana? Well, too damn bad. You're going to be a general practitioner in Podunk, Indiana, but you want to be a brain surgeon and help find a cure for Alzheimer's in Boston or New York. No, we've got plenty of brain surgeons and brain researchers in Boston and New York. You're going to be a family physician in Podunk, Indiana. And you're going to accept chickens and eggs as payment. Now, you're not going to be able to take those chickens and eggs and turn them into cash so you can pay your mortgage or your rent bill and your electric bill every month. But hey, since you're a doctor and the government has decided this is where you're going to live and this is the what you're going to take for payment, you've just been turned into a slave of the state. It's slavery, plain and simple. And who is all for this kind of slavery? It's not just Bernie Sanders, by the way. Look at all the wonderful Democrats who are fully behind single-payer healthcare systems. They're fully behind single-payer college systems. They're fully behind single-payer just about everything. You even had some Democrats who even admitted, well, hey, if you charge this or charge that, this congresswoman or this congressman is going to be all about taking over your business. Oh, you make too much? You have something called windfall profits? Oh, then we got to tax you. Oh, you've got this huge bonus? Well, how about we tax 90% of your bonus because we don't approve of your bonus? So they want to make slaves of everybody. You're in a certain industry. You're not allowed to have a bonus unless the government approves it. When was the last time government or anybody other than the people involved had to approve what kind of bonus you got? Oh, the foreman wants to give you an extra ham hock for the holidays because you were such a great slave and worked so hard. Who had to give the permission for that? The owner of the plantation, did they not? The slave owner? No, we're not. We're not giving the slaves anything like that this year. So you work your tail off, and your company wants to give you a $100,000 bonus at the end of the year. Government comes along and says, oh, yeah, you know what? We're just going to take 90% of that bonus. Yet they talk about companies and windfall profits. Remember when they used to talk about that with oil companies and their windfall profits? Did you know that the government, both the state level and the federal level, depending on the state that you're in, the government took in 3 to 7 times more profit in taxes than the oil companies made in profit. Yeah, because the average at the time, the average profit per gallon was about 10 to 15 cents per gallon. The government was making like 35 to 70 cents a gallon in taxes at the time. Now, who was making windfall profits? But they were telling the oil company, well, you're going to pay this. You're going to be the slave of the government. So this is all this whenever they decide, and understand they're the ones that are deciding what rights that you have, what's a right and what's not a right. So it's not a right to have food, so you don't get to go to the grocery store. Well, maybe you do. That's why they give out so many food stamps, right? But they're telling you that if you're going to be in the healthcare industry, that you're going to have to give somebody care, even if you do not want to. because that person has a right to your knowledge, your training, your information, your skills. That's slavery.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came, defeat the would-be dictators, and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
Anybody want to talk about Hillary Clinton? Yeah, I don't really want to talk about Hillary Clinton. I'm sick of Hillary Clinton. But she's on that book tour now. She's on that trying to sell her book, trying to hawk her book. And so she's constantly putting herself back in the limelight. I know we do. And look, she gets what she wants. She gets publicity. Remember, there's no such thing as bad publicity. There's just publicity. And even so-called bad publicity can be good for you if you spin it right. Well, there's some stuff out there about Hillary, and well, she wrote it in her own book. Basically, the lessons from Hillary Clinton are that the book 1984. The lessons there in the book 1984, George Orwell's 1984. is trust your leaders. You know, I had to go back and reread 1984 by George Orwell and Animal Farm. It's been a long time since I've read them. Long time. I mean, I read them in high school. Been a long time. I hate to say it, it's been a long time. And it's getting even longer. By the way, I'm not going to my 50th class reunion, whenever that is. I'm not going to say when it is. It's not coming up anytime soon, or is it? How old you got to be to go to your 50th? You got to be like 70, right? Well, okay, so we're still a good ways away from that. Well, because what, are you 17, 18 years old when you graduate? So add 50 years of that puts you at like 68 or so. Nah. You still got some time away. Well, the funny thing is that my class, we're all closer to 65 than we are 25. That really sucks, actually. But anyway, time marches on. So we have these lessons from these wonderful books. By the way, I don't know, are they still reading these books in high school? I don't know. Are they still reading Animal Farm in 1985? I'm sure they're probably not reading Animal Farm because that's disparaging to animals, farm animals. But I'm just wondering, are we still reading those very important? Remember, they're novels, they're works of fiction, but are they really works of fiction? Considering that they're really bringing to light what's going on today. We were being warned by these authors all those years ago. They saw this kind of thing happening and coming. Now, we all like to think that we have a certain view of what this dystopian era is going to be like, and it's not, hasn't come to pass. Or has it? You've got a major politician by the name of Hillary Clinton who's saying, 1984 really was a book telling you to trust your leaders. You see, that's where we've gone wrong in this country. We don't have leaders. We don't. We have elected officials who have specific, defined duties. And there's nothing in there in the Constitution in their design duties that says that they're leaders in most of these positions. So we don't have a bunch of leaders. Dear leader. But this is what we're talking. Mitch McConnell's a leader? No, he's not. Paul Ryan's a leader? No. Their job description does not make them out to be so-called what we would define as leaders, by the way. They don't. They're elected officials, and then they get to be they get appointed to do certain things, certain tasks. We got to get in order to get our government back and back to the people where it belongs. We've got to start properly defining all these roles and positions of people in government. There are elected officials and there are appointed officials, and very few of them are designated as actual leaders.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small. You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound.
It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all, the few, the proud, the Marines.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Welcome back. Here it is, hour number 2 here on the Rod Eccles Show on this Thursday, September number 14 in the year of our Lord 2017. The call-in action hotline number is 603-835-3226. It's 603-835-3226. It's a mostly sunny day today here. It's supposed to be pretty warm, I do believe. It's already like 70 degrees or so. It's late September. Well, mid-September. It's not late September yet. So it's still... This is what I talk about. The seasons are kind of not getting shorter or longer. They're just kind of moving, shifting. But today is a mostly sunny day. It's supposed to get up to, I do believe, around... Is it going to be an 80-degree day? 80 today. If this were a weekend, I'd be heading to the beach because this is the time to do it here in New England because all the tourists have gone home. So we people who live here have our state back. For the next, we get about 3 weeks after Labor Day to enjoy it with warm weather. Today is going to be 80. Yesterday it was like 80 something, and tomorrow it's going to be near 80. And over the weekend it's supposed to be in the 80s, and that's a good thing. I'm not complaining about it. But you'll have some people who are saying that, the global climate change and global warming is a big problem. And they'll point to stuff like this, it's 80 degrees in September. Well, this is not unusual. This is pretty normal for us. Summer does go until, September 21st is the first day of fall? Autumn? So we're still technically in summer. It doesn't end on Labor Day. So having another 3 or 4 weeks of warm weather after Labor Day is pretty normal because summer goes through the end of September. Why do we forget? Well, we seem to think we put these artificial dates in there like Labor Day, and that's the end of summer, and the beginning of summer isn't until Memorial Day around May 30th. Well, that's summer doesn't actually begin until June, by the way. But that's when we supposedly think that it begins. But the reason I bring it up is because we have this stupid telethon the other day for the victims of Hurricane Irma. And all those wonderful, wonderful music and acting stars giving us lectures on man-made global warming. And what have they done about it? Well, how about their carbon footprint? Do you know who's got one of the biggest, largest carbon footprints out there? Leonardo DiCaprio. Honestly. And this kid, well, he's not a kid. He's in his 40s now, so he's not a kid. And this guy is running around trying to lecture the rest of us on the need for the Paris Agreement and the Kyoto Agreement and all that other kind of, global warming, Al Gore-ish type of crap. And how is he getting around telling everybody about it? Is he using the internet and doing Skype calls and stuff? No. He's taking his freaking private jet and spewing tons and tons and tons of CO2 into the atmosphere, which he says, by the way, is a global warming gas. Now, he's not the only one. A lot of them do this. All these so-called stars and actors, they run around the planet, giving concerts and talking about man-made global warming while they're spewing all this global warming gas called CO2 into the atmosphere with their jets and their buses and their tour buses and their limousines. When was the last time you saw any type of star arrive anywhere without in a VW Bug or a Prius? No, they're all coming in limousines. They're all going to these wonderful outings to be self-congratulatory in limousines. Now, what are limousines? Are these big gas-guzzling vehicles? And they're all in their private jets because, most of them are just they're too big and too important to be sitting next to the common man in an airliner. Even if it is first class, oh my God! I mean, first class. Regular people are going to be walking back and forth that first class aisle, and they're going to see them. Can you imagine being accosted and being asked to sign an autograph because you're sitting in first class and everybody recognizes that for the star that you are? Or I should say you think you are. So instead of sharing an airplane, hey, you're going from LA to New York, so instead of sharing an airliner, sure, maybe you get in first class. Okay. But but you're on an airliner or an airplane with another 250 people. Instead of doing that, you're going to jump in your private jet where, maybe there's, besides the pilots, only 2 or 3 other people on board, and spend all that money on fuel and burn all that fuel and spend all that time spewing CO2 into the atmosphere so that when you land, you can go to some college or something in New York and talk about man-made global warming. And so we forgot about the limo because you're not driving yourself from the private airport to the college, are you? No, you're in a limo. And who knows? You probably have 2 limos because you got to bring your entourage, and your entire entourage probably isn't going to comfortably fit in one limo. So you got 2 limos. Or, they may not be stretch limos. They're those dreaded SUVs in New York City because those will get you around New York City a lot faster and easier. So you got two monster hogging, gas hogging SUV limos driving you to the college where you give your 40-minute lecture on how bad human beings are about spewing CO2 into the atmosphere. Then you jump back into those 2 SUV gas hog limos to drive you back to your private airport where you get back aboard your private jet and then spend the next 6 hours in the air spewing CO2 till you get back to California. Now, can I just say, and if you want to be an actor, go right ahead. Go right ahead, be an actor. But don't preach to me about wasting stuff and spewing CO2s and all that kind of stuff. Because the most wasteful industry on the planet is the movie and television industry. Because they don't do anything real. But they spend an awful lot of money and energy to produce what? Fake stories. They blow up stuff. Well, what is that doing? That's just wasting stuff, right? You blow up a car, you have car wrecks, we have all these action flicks. If you want to do it, that's fine. But don't preach to me about saving the planet when you are in an industry that is the most anti-planet there is. Think about it, folks. I mean, really, honestly, let's think about this for a second. All that they are doing is entertaining us. Do they really have to go through all of that to entertain us? I mean, seriously, this is it. The movie industry has got to be the biggest wasteful industry on the planet, bar none. It has got to be the biggest polluting industry on the planet, bar none, because nothing real is produced out of Hollywood. Nothing. Nothing. And yet these are the people that are going to sit on TV and lecture us, the rest of us, about man-made global climate change. I mean, give me a freaking break. Let's go to the phones. 731, you're live on the Rod Eccles Show. Good morning to you.
Hey, you know what? I love what you just said. And think about George Clooney for a minute. Having his 2 children, his wife's having twins, whatever, and he tells us to open our borders, welcome them in. Well, it took, a month? And he was like, I'm going to go back to California where I have my security around my house so my children and wife are safe. But all you Americans, it doesn't matter if you're safe. You open those borders and you let them come in, and I dare you to say a word. Because guess what? He's got all his top-notch security taking care of him. That's
you bring
hypocrisy.
Up excellent point. It was back in August, if I'm not mistaken. George Clooney said that he was basically fleeing England because his security personnel couldn't guarantee his safety at his English estate, his massive English estate, because of all of the Islamists being brought in or allowed to enter England. And he was going to come back to the United States where he could be more secure for his family. With his armed bodyguards, by the way. His armed service personnel.
He said his property was larger, and he could put more security guards around it.
Yeah, I mean, how much more hypocritical can you be than that? I mean, you're supposed to be for open borders, and you say, well, there's nothing wrong with open borders, and then because of open borders, basically, now you're saying that you can't keep your family safe. Well, if you can't keep your family safe on such a large estate with all that armed security, what the hell do you think the average person can do?
And then on top of that, he says that really there's too many shootings. We shouldn't have guns. Well, you know what? Let all of their security people give up their guns and let them use their bow and arrows or whatever. That's the hypocrisy.
I think it's pepper spray.
Almost as bad as Hillary Clinton writing a book. She should be embarrassed. She should be embarrassed.
I think they're supposed to use pepper spray. Anybody? Well, I heard this once. About anti-guns. Now, I cannot remember the star that used this example, but it wasn't the star that's involved. Anybody know Dog the Bounty Hunter? Well, Dog the Bounty Hunter, he's a convicted felon, so he is not allowed to own or carry a gun. So he has these pepper spray rifles, basically. It's like you put the canister pepper spray into this device. It makes it looks like a gun. And everybody on this team uses these things they don't use lethal weapons, at least not on the TV show. And so they point out, well, if Dog the Bounty Hunter can catch criminals using pepper spray, then nobody needs a gun. If Dog the Bounty Hunter could carry a gun, he'd be carrying a gun, but he can't. And they're only doing it for television because when the cameras are off, the rest of his team, even though Dog himself can't have a gun, the rest of his team has been noted and seen carrying firearms. So
anybody, he's not that stupid to go chasing criminals and coming up with them and have pepper spray. I mean, he's not that stupid, but we're stupid enough to believe it. So, you were talking about, our so-called elected officials. I don't believe a word that comes out of their mouth. Whatever comes out of their mouth, it's usually just the opposite. Them talking Donald Trump's not going to do anything with the DECA. Well, let me tell you, if we had Hillary Clinton, we'd have about 100 million more of them. So, he can only do what Congress will allow. Well, he's in bed with the Democrats. Well, you know what? Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell won't do their job. So he didn't have any choice. So for all those Twitter bots, sit down and shut the hell up is what I got to say.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They can't. What you got in McConnell and Ryan is they want their cake and they want to eat it too, because they're in the old political game. Well, you're in this party, so you've got to work with your your party in order to get things done when your party's in power. And if your party's going to be obstructionist, well, then you just sort of got to sit there and take it. Well, Trump's not a politician, and he doesn't know how to play that game. And he's well, look, if you're going to obstruct me, I've given you guys 9 months.
Exactly.
And you can't come up with a damn thing. That's why I asked at the beginning of this program, can somebody tell me a major piece of legislation that the Republican-led Congress has passed and put on the desk of the president for him to sign that's a part of his agenda? I can't think of anything yet. They haven't done anything in 9 months. The Democrats were at least able to get to give Obama some stuff in the first few months of his first year in office, and then of course within a very short period of time they gave him Obamacare, the biggest. What's Trump's biggest thing that he wants to get done? Do you think that they're going to be able to do it?
He's going to have to strike a deal. He's going to have to compromise because our crooked leaders are doing nothing but obstructing and preventing him from getting any legislation passed because really they want Obamacare for all of us. Not them, of course, but all of us. They're perfectly fine with that. They all said, first thing we're going to do is appeal and replace. That was the biggest lie ever handed down. And you know what? I don't care. And I said this during the campaign. If Trump walks butt naked down Pennsylvania Avenue, I'm still going to back him just because he does say the truth. He's trying to tell us, I'm going to have to strike a deal because otherwise we're not going to have these borders closed. Where Obama, he let them all in. Raise your hand. Come across as long as you're not a Christian. Come on. And so, to me, that we got what we asked for. Now we have somebody trying to make a difference, and all they can do. They're not worried about Hillary Clinton and Benghazi and her 33,000 emails. They could care less. They're worried about what Michael Flynn's son might have done. That's because that's all they have. And they're all a bunch of crooks. And I say lock them all up.
Well, they can't. One of the side effects, the unintended consequences of this endless Mueller investigation is that it could actually ensnare people that didn't think they'd ever be ensnared by anything on both sides.
Exactly.
If they don't, now you watch this. Don't doubt me. Watch this. As Mueller investigation, as he keeps bringing in people, these lawyers, these pundits that call themselves lawyers, as he keeps bringing in these people with certain special skills, and where they're big in investigating, and they start, looking into things and finding out stuff, and it's going to all of this people still think that he's investigating Trump. I think what Mueller's starting to uncover is a bunch of stuff that leads away from Trump. And he's going to start ensnaring and they're going to start demanding that Trump rein in Mueller. You just wait and see. Before this year is out, you're going to start hearing some people in D.C., in the swamp in D.C., and some media personnel start asking the question, is it time to rein in Mueller? Is it time to end the investigation? Because they're going to start hitting people that they all like.
Well, they're going to start. He's going to meet where the real crime is, and then they're not going to like that. And suddenly it's kind of like Russia, not so much anymore. Just they've kind of changed their tune about that because they know where this leads. It leads to the uranium that was sold. It leads to Mueller himself going to Russia and doing a few things himself. It leads to a lot of places that they don't really want to go. But you know what? That's what they deserve. Because you know what? They don't care about the country. They only care about their self-interest, and that's it.
Yeah, that's what it's always been.
People are tired. But anyway, I didn't mean to talk so long, but it's ridiculous. And, America, we deserve better. And, it's that. And I call those stupid leaders, well, I'm not going to call them leaders, obstructions. I call them every day. You know what? And you don't ever hear a word back. Not a word. Because they're not worried because they think they've got their bases covered. Well, I hope they find themselves all sitting in a prison cell.
Well, hopefully this will be a wake up season for them in 2018, election season. Most of them will skate by, so. But hopefully enough of them will get burned and booted out of office that it makes the rest of them pay attention. We can only hope.
And we need an American team. We don't need Democrats and Republicans because they're all the same. We need an America First team.
That would be
right.
Nice.
Okay.
Always good to talk to you.
Day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
America First political party. Yeah, that would be kind of nice.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
There are people out there who don't like the idea of possibly of having singing a naked Trump. Well, I can't blame them. Actually, I don't want to see any of our politicians naked. The emperor has no clothes type of thing. Yeah, the Trumpster has no clothes. You know what would be worse is if we had. Well, there are some ladies that would probably like to see Ryan naked. But can you imagine McConnell naked? Oh my God, that's a terrible picture. We'll be back.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Marcia Gay Harden? What?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye. I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? What's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents, which leads to millions killed in shelters each year. Turns out, those little cuties can get pregnant sooner than you think. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. When you bring home a pet, get them fixed at 4 months old. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event.
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Call Rod now, 666-603-835-3226. here we have all the wonderful stars. Anybody out there, starstruck? I'm not a starstruck kind of person. I don't really give a flip about, if you entertain me, great. I've met a few stars. I have never asked for anybody's autograph. I know people find that hard to believe. I haven't. And I mean, why? It's only their signature. If you collect autographs because they're collectible and they can be worth some money later on, I mean, first of all, I don't know why that is, but okay. I don't have any sports memorabilia with people, signing baseballs or footballs or anything like that. Not because I couldn't get my hands on any of that stuff, but because I don't find that these people are all that extraordinary. All they've done is either, if they're sports stars, they've played a game. Yeah, they were very good at playing it, but they had the ability to practice for long periods of time, unlike most of the rest of us. I mean, let's face it. The only reason why Larry Bird was Larry Bird is because Larry Bird put in, hours and hours and hours and hours of practice. It's like Olympians. Some Olympians don't get to, spend 8 or 12 hours a day training. They have to do it part-time because they're in sports, or they don't have big sports that don't have a big following, or they don't have a big name, so they don't have tons and tons of sponsors. But a lot of, Olympic athletes, that's their job, is to train. It really is. And I'm not knocking them for it. I mean, if you can get somebody to do that for you, that's great. But it doesn't make you any more special than anybody else out there who goes to work and works 8, 10, 12 hours a day. I mean, really, seriously. And as far as the movie and TV stars, I mean, yeah, they entertain me. And some of them are really good at what they do, and some of them are really funny. They're comedians, or some of them are really good dramatic actors. But that's just it. And we overpay most of them. They're ungodly amounts of money. And because that's what they work 2 months out of the year. Doing this movie was hard work, man. It was 2 months of just intense, hard work. I love it when they call their movies, all that they've done, their body of work. It's not work. It's like telling somebody who's in the NFL, well, that's work, man. That's not work. That's play. But in any case, I don't ask for autographs. I remember there was somebody. They're not a big star, so I'm not going to mention any names. But he looked at me and says, "You want my autograph?" Like, why? Are we signing contracts? Because that's the only reason to have somebody's autograph is when it's on the bottom of a contract, an agreement. I mean, as much as I may find certain, look, I used to be a huge Will Smith fan. Not so much now because, he keeps opening his mouth and sounding political, and he's just really turning me off. But I like going to, honestly, I haven't seen all of his movies, but there hasn't been a Will Smith movie that I have seen that I have not liked. At one point, I would have liked to have met Will Smith. Can I say, here in Boston, when they were doing, what was that movie with Jack Nicholson and Leonardo DiCaprio and Matt Damon? Not Unbreakable, but something like that. And anyway, the filming was in Boston. And it was hard to get around certain parts of town while they were filming because, these huge actors, huge names, Matt Damon and Leonardo and Jack Nicholson, they were all in town. And I actually happened to pass by a set where they had Leo and Jack Nicholson were there. I saw them. And I didn't get, oh my goodness, it's Leo. That's Leo DiCaprio. That's Jack Nicholson. Oh my God, I wonder if I can get there. I didn't even stop to pay attention or watch the filming. I was curious, so I walked over and, the line where you couldn't get past. And I'm trying to look through all these people and like, oh, it's a scene, particular scene that they're filming. And the scene is still in the movie with Leo and Jack Nicholson outside. He was in a park. And I watched them say action and cut, and then I left. Like, wow, big deal. I didn't try to hang around or follow them or see where they were going to be so I can get there. Give me a break. I got better things to do. So, no, I did not see Matt Damon. If anybody's asking, I did not see Matt Damon. The only people I saw, I forget who the other lesser actor was. I think there was 3 of them in the scene. It was Leo and Jack Nicholson. And might I ask that, they say that the camera adds 10 pounds to your waistline. No, Jack Nicholson was just that fat. Sorry. I'm just saying. He was. He was a little plump tard. But how, I don't know. How old is he? He's like 70 or so. So I guess he's got old man fat. And he's allowed. That's fine. But I don't go goo goo gaga over these people. Never have and never will. Not even when I was a kid. I've met various stars of various levels all throughout my life, and I've never, even as a kid, I never asked for any of their autographs. Never, ever. There are stars I'd like to meet. Now, I'm not going to deny that. No, Leo is not one of. Well, I'd like to meet Leo just so I can smack him upside his head and call him a big giant hypocrite. And why is that? Well, because, for instance, here, Justin Bieber is one of the world's biggest stars right now, and they were on the telly with this telethon and starting off lecturing us. You may be a musical legend, Stevie Wonder, but first of all, I still wouldn't ask for your autograph. Second of all, just because you're a musical genius doesn't make you a genius. And frankly, I don't care if you're blind or not. What you said at the start of that telethon was pure and complete idiocy. It's pure and complete idiocy. And in my book, it made you look and sound like a complete idiot. You can't say that about Stevie Wonder, Rod. You know who Stevie... All Stevie Wonder has done over the years is make music. That's it. It doesn't make him brilliant in any other aspect of life or knowledge. So is that the whole point? Because they've entertained us so well for so long that they automatically are a genius in every aspect of life and in every area of knowledge, and we're just supposed to automatically believe them and take them to heart? No! Stevie Wonder acted like a complete idiot, buffoon. And so did the rest of those stars. Except the rest of those stars are huge hypocrites. I mean, Justin Bieber traveled 136,000 miles in a year on airlines. Going from concert to concert to concert. Well, at least he was going to concerts. Now, I don't know if Justin, well, I'm sure in some cases he took a private jet. In some cases he was probably flying first class and people didn't, on the jumbo jets, and people didn't know he was even on board. But yet other people like George Clooney, Beyonce, and Leonardo DiCaprio, they've got their own planes. Traveling thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of miles on an annual basis. I'm not buying these people. We're supposed to believe that they're highly intelligent. Why? Because a script writer somewhere writes a script that makes them appear to be highly intelligent? You know, I'm sorry, but Matt Damon is not a mathematical genius, although he may have played one in a movie or two. What are we supposed to take these people that seriously? Because they're overpaid, pompous, arrogant, hypocritical, bigoted idiots. That's who they are. I mean, how many times have you heard stories? Well, bigoted, Rod? How can you say that? Well, how many times have you heard stories from Latino, from brown and black actors talking about how racist and bigoted Hollywood is? Well, who's Hollywood made up of? Hollywood is made up of a bunch of white people. You know, the hierarchy of white liberals. The same liberals that keep telling us and lecturing us about racism and being behind Black Lives Matter. But these wonderful, black and brown actors, and some of them are A-list actors, telling us how bad it is and how racist Hollywood is. Well, whose fault is that? And yet they're going to be lecturing us, the rest of the country, the rest of the world, on race relations when they can't even get it right themselves? They want to talk to us about hey, President Trump, sexual harassment thing. They want to talk to us about sexual harassment, and we've got famous directors that they try to protect who've been accused of and even convicted in absentia sometimes of sexual misconduct. I mean, we've got child star after child star talking about the so-called casting couch. Hollywood has probably got to be the made up of some of the world's biggest hypocrites. I mean, you can honestly say that elected officials are hypocrites by election. They're hypocrites because they want to get votes in order to get elected. That's bad enough. Hollywood is just full of a bunch of hypocrites simply because that's what they are. That's what they are. They run around in limousines. Hey, look at Al Gore. Al Gore is now in Hollywood land. He's not in politics anymore. He's in Hollywood land. Al Gore runs around in limos. How many mansions does Al Gore have? How many mansions does George Clooney has? How many mansions does Leonardo DiCaprio have? How many mansions does Beyonce have? How many mansions does Justin Bieber have? Or any of those other big name stars? How many mansions? And those they've got more than one, all of them. And even if they only have just two, they're nowhere near each other. So how do they get to them? Now, again, I am not disparaging them for making money and spending the money that they earned any way that they want to. Hell, if I could afford to have a home in the Mediterranean and maybe Hawaii as well as here, I'd have them. But I'm not the one running around talking about global warming, man-made global warming and man-made climate change and CO2 spewing and all that kind of stuff. I'm not the one talking about it, but they are. And they're the ones, in order to get to these places, they're not walking. I haven't seen a star yet walk to their anywhere. There are very few stars that actually live the talk. They drive a Prius or something. Very few of them. And those aren't the big stars either. They're your B and C listers. They're most likely stars as we call them, that still have to audition to get a part. A-listers don't audition for movie roles or TV roles. The scripts are dropped at their agent's doorstep and say, "Hey, please, can you talk Brad Pitt into doing my movie? Please, can you talk Leonardo into doing my movie?" Now, hey, Leo, you got to come in and do a, audition for this role. They don't do that. Those are A-listers. Everybody else who's not an A-lister has to audition most likely for a particular part, especially if they want the part. Hell, A-listers just say, hey, I want to play, I don't know. I mean, you'll probably get, Baldwin. You know, you'll probably if they ever do a comedy movie about Donald Trump, you're going to get Baldwin, Alec Baldwin, who's probably just going to call up his agent and say, I want to play President Trump in this comedy. Make it happen. And his agent will probably say, Alec Baldwin wants to be Donald Trump, and the producers will say, Alec Baldwin's got the part. He isn't going to have to audition. All he has to do is pick up the phone, make one phone call to his agent, and he's probably got the part. That's the way it works if you're an A-lister. He probably doesn't even have to pick up the phone. They'll probably do a comedic biopic of President Trump, and the first person they'll think of to do the part would be Alec Baldwin, and they'll say, hey, Alec, please do this, man. And he'll say, okay, yeah, give me enough money and I'll do it. That's how it works if you're an A-lister. Everybody else has to audition. But I can just see it now. Alec Baldwin playing. I'll admit this. I've seen Alec Baldwin imitate President Trump. He's putting politics aside. He does a pretty good, funny impression of Trump. I'm not going to lie about that. He does. But it doesn't change the fact that Alec Baldwin is still a liberal, hypocritical, bigoted a-hole.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message. A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, I'll bet you're a Nazi. Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people, you suck.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Warning. Listening to the Rod Eccles Show by the Idiot Left may cause outrage, fear, a need for safety pins and/or spaces. If you experience any of these symptoms or are allergic to truth, tune in and learn something.
603-835-3226. That bumper music always reminds me of something from Samurai Jack. Is anybody? I haven't seen the latest. They did another season of it. I didn't see this latest season yet of Samurai Jack. I got to catch it. One of these days I'll catch it, I'm sure. There's a poll out there. Dem poll produces surprising results on what? Well, on the minimum wage thing in college tuition. Yeah. Evidently, the whole notion for this so-called living wage or $15 minimum wage, even the Democratic voters, they're not buying it. Well, because they see the actual results of places like San Francisco and Seattle that have implemented this minimum wage going up to $15 an hour, and how it has affected negatively affected workers. And how many people have actually lost their jobs or have had their hours cut back. So they're not gaining anything on this $15 an hour. So there have been some internal polling that the Democrats have been doing, and the results are not good for the Democrats, according to this hot air piece. Recognizing the need to break out of their enclaves of support of the coast and in the major cities on the coastlines, the party has been testing its messaging to see how they might fare outside their normal base. Most of the attacks on President Trump don't seem to be sticking, but they at least hope that they'd be scoring points on their policy front. But they're not. No, they're not. Far from it. If they stick to the themes which please their furthest left-wing base, the survey results indicate they might wind up driving right into the ocean, as one Democratic strategist described it. There are two policy issues included in the survey which should come as a wake-up call to liberals, considering how poorly that they are faring with these two issues. The first is the fight for 15 and significantly jacking up the minimum wage. And the other is free college tuition. Neither is gaining traction outside of the left or right coast. In other words, the rest of America isn't buying it. It doesn't track well outside of the major coastal cities in Chicago. That's it. Nobody likes these ideas of this fight for 15. They're not buying it. Nobody likes this notion and idea of free college tuition. Nobody's buying it because they're fake and phony ideas that do not work in reality, and people understand this. No, but are we going to see that the Democrats talk about this kind of stuff or push this kind of stuff less? No. They're just going to say, well, we're not getting our message across.
Today, there's a beer for everyone.
Hey, me and the guys are going out for a beer. You want to come along?
Nah, I got a lot of data to enter into the computer tonight.
Now, there's a brew for the future.
Want me to bring you something back?
Thanks, but I got some right here.
Microsoft Brew.
You got a beer tap on your computer?
With a head so thick you can float a mouse on it.
Let me get this straight. You make your own beer with the computer?
With the right software, you can do anything.
Microsoft Brew.
Here, I call this one Windows 95.
I don't know. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
And if you got to get there quicker, try the new ISDN malt liquor.
When I found out I had atrial fibrillation, a serious but highly treatable heart condition, the first thing I thought of was who would take care of my wife and children if anything were to happen to me. My doctor recommended Prevactin. I had a lot of questions, so I did some research. It turns out Prevactin is the #1 recommended drug for Crohn's disease. I think my doctor's trying to kill me and steal my wife.
Doctors. They'll stop at nothing to get your wife.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's going to explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound.
It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
and so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Rod Eccles Show, the fastest 3 hours in Internet Talk Radio, is right here on this program, on this station, on this Internet site. Yes, indeed. 603-835-3226 is the call-in action hotline number on this Thursday, September number 14 of the year of our Lord 2017, which means tomorrow is Friday. Friday. Anybody remember the movie Thank God It's Friday? That was a fun movie. It was ridiculous. But hey, that's what nowadays it isn't so much Fridays or the antic-filled weekend day. It is Saturday. Well, because a lot of people even I don't know. It seemed like when I was doing the club bouncer thing, it seemed to me that the bigger days were Saturdays over Fridays. People still had stuff to do on Friday, I guess, but Saturday they were free to come out and be a dang heathen. That's a line or a lyric or two from a song. I can't remember. I think it's from a rapper, Chingy. I think Chingy. The rapper Chingy from the early 2000s said that. I don't know where I come up with this stuff. Sometimes it just pops out of my head. Gave me a reason to be a damn heathen. Yeah, I don't remember the song. He's the guy that said right there, right. That's what it was, I guess. Right there, right there, right there. If you're from the South Louisiana or something, you don't say right there. You say right there. In any case. What is thar? Right thar is Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan is now right thar in the spotlight. And why is this? Can I ask a really big question of females? This is of females. Now, he's got the puppy dog eyes, but other than that, I don't possibly really see where Paul Ryan is a hot legislator. I mean, is it when he was younger? I know he was big on the P90X thing for a while. I don't know if he still is. So okay, he had a hot body, but was he a good-looking guy? Other than those steely blue puppy dog eyes, I don't. By the way, I don't see a lot of females with that eye color. Is that a male-dominated thing? Because it looks that kind of blue that looks at you. You know who else has got eyes like that is Elijah Wood. It kind of looks like, hey, go watch Lord of the Rings. And if he's looking into the camera, it looks like he's looking right through you. Well, Paul Ryan's got the same color eyes. And I don't see that a lot in women. And I look at a lot of women's eyes, trust me. But I don't see that color in a lot. I'm beginning to think it's a male thing. Now, I'm not a biologist or whatever, when it comes to that kind of stuff. I don't know. But what is it about Paul Ryan that because I'm told that, women believe that Paul Ryan is a hunk, that he's hot, gorgeous, cute, whatever. Me as a guy, I don't see it. Other than his eyes, I don't see it. I'm just asking the question. I don't know. There's no right or wrong answer to this. I mean, if you think that Paul Ryan is a good-looking guy, great. There's no right or wrong answer. I'm not going to argue with it, but I just personally do not see it. Well, Rod, you're a guy. You're not supposed to see it. Well, that's irrelevant. I mean, I can say when they're good. There are good-looking guys out there. I agree with women who say that there are some guys who are good-looking, but I question others. Leonardo DiCaprio, when he was younger, was a good-looking young man. I'm not going to deny it. But I question when people say that Hugh Jackman is good-looking. Really? Okay, I don't see it. But I'm not the one who has to care about it, so it's okay. Did anybody ever think that Jack Nicholson was a good-looking guy? I don't see that in his younger days either. But hey, to each his own. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But I'm just wondering what is it that women see in Paul Ryan? Obviously not his politics. I don't think his politics is very sexy. By the same token, before I really rail into Ryan here, can somebody tell me what the hell is going on with Ann Coulter? Now, let me be well, Rod, do you think Ann Coulter is a beautiful woman? I think Ann Coulter is cute, but she's too damn skinny. She's a rail. Honestly. She is. She's a rail. I mean, have anybody ever seen Ann Coulter? I mean, she looks like she's 7 feet tall because she's so damn skinny. I don't think that's normal. But as long as I have known who Ann Coulter is, and that's been years now, she's always been that way. So I'm not going to say it's a recent medical condition. But what the hell is going on with her right now? I mean, she's been all over Twitter the past few days, completely trashing Donald Trump. I mean, one of her tweets is saying, I'd prefer, if they're not going to build the wall, I'd prefer a President Pence. Well, hey, Ann, how about if they're not going to build the wall, how about you prefer to elect Republicans in Congress who will provide money to have the wall built as the president wants? Instead of hoping for a different president, if this president can't get this stupid Republican Party to get, because what are they? Well, they're talking about kicking the can down to December for the wall, which means they're not going to bring it up before 2018, which means they're not going to bring it up before the midterm elections, which means they're not going to bring it up ever. Is that Donald Trump's fault? But in any case, you got Paul Ryan out there who's saying it's not in our nation's best interest to kick out the dreamers. That goes along with the wall, does it not? Why is it not in it's not in our nation's best interest to uphold the laws of the land, is what Paul Ryan is saying. Paul Ryan. It's what he's saying. And this is This is all over the place, too. But I got this out of the New York Post. House Speaker Paul Ryan said yesterday it was not in our nation's best interest to expel roughly 800,000 young people protected from deportation by the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. Why not? That means 800,000 positions that these children, who are no longer children, these young adults are holding, will now rightfully go to legal immigrants and natural-born citizens. I mean, isn't that? You've got municipalities like the one in Maryland that I told you about yesterday that wants to allow non-citizens and illegal immigrants give them the right to vote in citywide elections. That's stuff that is sacrosanct and sacred for citizenry only. There's got to be some benefits to being a citizen of a particular country. Otherwise, why would anybody ever become a citizen and assimilate? There'd be no reason to. There'd be no reason to take an oath to defend that particular country. There'd be no reason to say, well, you know what? When the times get tough, I'm going to stick around and because this is my country and this is what I believe in. There's no reason for it. If you're not going to have any benefits to citizenry, which you got the left who want to take away all benefits of being a citizen of this country. Anybody in the entire world should be able to come here and vote for whoever they damn well want as president and then just leave. Why not? Go back to their own country. After they screw us up, they can go back to their own country. I mean, isn't this wonderful how we have all these wonderful people who are illegal immigrants coming into our country, protesting our country against, not allowing illegal immigrants and demanding that we make this country more like the country that they escaped from. But it is not going to be in our best interest to send them back. How about securing our borders where we have people who only come here who actually want to be U.S. citizens someday, who actually do want to assimilate and help contribute to our society, our American society, and not want to make our country look more like El Salvador or Guatemala or Mexico? How about that? That would benefit our nation greatly. Sending them all back, all 800,000, would also benefit our bottom line because we wouldn't be supporting them with our tax dollars. Now, would we? So Ryan says, I do believe that kicking these 800,000 kids out to countries that they have probably not been to since they were toddlers, countries that speak language that they may not even know, is not in our nation's best interest. Now, first of all, that's a damn lie. Because if we were told, remember this, folks, we were told that if we send the Dreamers back, the DACA people back, that we would be splitting up families. Well, if their families are here, you can damn well better believe that they know how to speak their homeland language. They all do. They're dual language. They know at least two languages. They know English and they know their home country is Spanish, their version of Spanish. They're not, and many of them, if they were in school, probably took Spanish in high school. They know their home language. They can speak it when they get back there. Many of them probably speak it in their own damn homes because their families, especially the older members of their families, refuse to learn English. And if you say I'm being racist, all I got to do is go down to a couple of cities in Massachusetts. One's called Lowell and one's called Lawrence, where they have enclaves where that's all they speak is Spanish. And they fully expect you to speak Spanish if you're going to come in and deal with them. And if you look like you should speak Spanish, you better damn well know how to speak Spanish, or else they're going to be mad at you. Look, I know firsthand on that one. I mean, I have been called out for being Puerto Rican and Dominican and not knowing how to speak Spanish, even though I'm not Dominican or Puerto Rican at all. Hey, you too ashamed to speak Spanish, man? I mean, this is what I've gotten. In America. In two cities in America. So don't tell me this stuff doesn't happen. So how is it not in our best interest to kick out a bunch of lawbreakers who are draining our bank accounts That's not in our best interest. Upholding our laws, spending our money on citizens and those who come here legally, that's not in our best interest, Mr. Ryan. That's what he's saying. That's a Democrat notion, folks. And think about it. I mean, is there any difference between Paul Ryan and Nancy Pelosi at this point? Really? Think about it. Is there really any difference?
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Speaking of good looks, people giving people a pass, is there a reason why Antifa people cover their faces? Or is it because the majority of them probably would not be construed or be considered as good looking? I'm just asking. I don't know. Why else would they? If they're not hiding their faces in order to cover up crime, then why would they hide their face? I mean, you would think that they'd want to be the face of revolution and change, would they not? Why? I mean, seriously, why doesn't Black Lives Matter doesn't run around hiding their face, do they? Well, then again, in many places across the country that have these Black Lives Matter protests, they're not black. They're not even brown. It's usually greater than 90% white people. I'm trying to figure that one out. If white white people have white privilege, so says Black Lives Matter. This is all about white privilege. Why would you have a bunch of white privileged people co-opting your movement? Black Lives Matter is the only reason why you get anything done is because a bunch of privileged white people protest instead of blacks. I'm just asking the obvious questions here. If you are, I mean, come on, folks. Seriously, think about this. Look, I can't make this stuff up. You go around the country, you go to places where there are not a lot of blacks to begin with, blacks or brown people. I mean, that's fine. I don't have any problem with it. It's just the way people migrated and people moved. I mean, if blacks, look, there's a reason why there's not a lot of black people or brown people in Alaska, because they don't like cold. So then do you really need a protest movement in Alaska for Black Lives Matter? And if you do, are you going to import a bunch of black people? No, you're going to get a bunch of white people. But doesn't that mean that they're co-opting your movement? After all, you're accusing them of white privilege to begin with, that white people can get away with anything and everything they want simply because they're white. So are you really getting what you want by letting a bunch of privileged white people protest for you? I mean, is that not hypocritical? I mean, think about that for a second. Is that not hypocritical? It doesn't make any sense. You're going to, here in New Hampshire, you're going to get some Black Lives Matter movement protests going on, and you look in the crowd, it's not a very large crowd, granted, but that's irrelevant. 95% of the crowd is white. But they're calling themselves Black Lives Matter. Well, how is that possible if they're white? And should we not just start saying, because now we're including brown people and all this stuff, should we not just say brown lives matter? Well, no, because brown doesn't mean black, right? Even though there are a lot of blacks who are actually brown. I can't keep up with this crap, to tell you the truth. I really can't. But in any case, where am I going with this? Is Antifa says, this is from The Hill, Antifa activists say that violence is necessary. So is violence necessary in a Black Lives movement where there are no black people there protesting? It's all a bunch of white people. Is violence still necessary? According to Antifa, yes. Anti-fascist activists, or Antifa, increasingly mobilized in the wake of President Trump's election, are unapologetic about what they describe as the necessary use of violence to combat authoritarianism. What they are advocating is authoritarianism. They say that they're anti-fascist. What they're advocating is fascism. You don't get to speak because we don't agree with you. You don't get to march because we don't agree with you. We demand that people who do not believe in global warming be arrested and jailed. Is that not authoritarianism? Well, yeah, it is. This is why I'm saying I don't think that we're reading the books 1984 and Animal Farm in school anymore. Or maybe they are reading Animal Farm and they've taken it to heart, because Animal Farm has a chapter in the book, talking about equality. It has an ongoing theme about equality. And if you I'm going to give away the plot here. In the book Animal Farm, the animals say some animals are more equal than others.
You might be surprised to learn who has Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Nearly 1 in 200 Americans are suffering with a debilitating pain and constant disruption of these inflammatory bowel diseases, or IBD. Chances are you know someone with IBD. For example, your neighbor or coworker. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation was created to help patients cope and to find a cure. People with IBD can't wait. Won't you help someone you know? Visit www.escapethestall.com today.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C, but most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? Shifting to a system based on primary care can help fix the problem. Patients with a primary care doctor live longer, healthier lives and are less likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, or stroke. Primary care that is comprehensive and coordinated also saves money. Patients who have a primary care doctor spend 30% less on health care than patients who don't. States with a high number of primary care doctors have lower health care costs and higher quality care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
The Amazon's rainforest is being cut down so fast that by 2030, 55% of it could be completely wiped out. The Earth's forests can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Ah! Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. Did she didn't say goodbye? I mean, I would have.
Visit brainhealth.gov.
603-835-3226. Welcome back. One of the things that I know some people are probably saying, geez, Rod laughs on the air a lot. Well, when you're dealing with a bunch of liberals, just sometimes what they say and do is just absolutely, you can't believe that they actually do it. I mean, as long as I've been at this, there are times that I just cannot believe that that a liberal will actually do or say what they've just done or said. I mean, it's just, and they never cease to strike me funny when they do stuff like this. And being hypocritical is one of those. That on one hand, they'll talk about people needing to be more accepting and open of other ideas, and as soon as you have an idea that they disagree with, they want to shut you down. And they talk about free speech, free speech, free speech, and as soon as somebody wants to come to the campus that they're getting their education on that they disagree with, even if they just think that they're going to disagree with them, they want to riot and shut the person and keep the person from coming. Is that not? Look what happened in Berkeley a couple of times. Ann Coulter. No, she can't come. I mean, if they say, Milo. I mean, Milo Yiannopoulos, a gay guy. Well, because Milo Yiannopoulos, who's a gay guy, is also a conservative, moderate to a conservative. Oh, whatever Milo says, shouldn't be allowed to speak. And if you don't think that this is what they're all about, hello, folks, they're making some loud claims that people who disbelieve, who openly disbelieve in man-made climate change should be arrested and held criminally accountable. And in some cases, charged with murder because, the climate is murdering people. I wish I was making this stuff up, but I'm not. I'm not making this. It's insane. It's insane, people. That sound means that we are about to have the military report. Yes, indeed. Every Thursday at about this time, we have the military report where we bring you special information from our nation's military. This first story from the Military Times. Chelsea Manning is named visiting fellow at Harvard University. What was it Bradley Manning is his real name? Chelsea Manning will be joining Harvard University as a visiting fellow at the John F. Kennedy School of Government, according to the school's website. Manning will speak on issues of LGBTQ identity in the military. Institute of Politics fellow... So, because Bradley Manning basically was a near traitor, and he got caught, and Obama let him out of prison because he decided that he wanted to be a female instead of a male, which is why he went, AWOL to begin with. is because he was having a tough time dealing with his sexuality. And so now he's Chelsea. And he's still Bradley Manning in my book. I don't care. That's politically incorrect, Rod. Of course he's Chelsea. No, he's still Bradley. But unfortunately, if I say Bradley Manning, most people won't know who that is now, but they'll know who Chelsea Manning is. So Chelsea Manning will be joining Harvard University to speak on issues, lecturing on issues of LGBTQ identity. So now we have to worry about whatever the Q means, queer. Is supposed to mean in the... I still don't know what queer is. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered. Transsexual, tranny, whatever. But what is the Q? Is it questioning? I don't know what queer is. I'm still trying to figure that out. So if anybody knows what the Q in LGBTQ... This is why I'd rather just go back to LGB. Because that encompasses, well, he doesn't cover the transgender. No, it encompasses everything in my book. Everything that is legit. Lesbian, gay, and bisexual. That's it. My book, you're one or the other. There's none of this other. I mean, all this other stuff. I know I'm going to be politically incorrect again by saying all this other stuff outside of lesbianism, gay, male homosexuality, or bisexuality, all that other stuff is a mental disorder, literally, in my book. I don't know what all the other 62 genders are. It's just a bunch of BS. But like cisgender. Cisgender basically is a straight person, I guess, but on the queer side, whatever queer means, a queer straight person. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Manning will speak on issues of LGBTQ identity in the military. And Harvard says, we welcome the breadth of thought-provoking viewpoints on race, gender, politics, and the media. This was said by Bill Delahunt, the IOP acting director at the college. Manning, a former Army intelligence analyst, was obviously and evidently convicted in 2013 for leaking a huge cache of classified and sensitive documents. He was sentenced to 35 years in prison after a military judge found him guilty of 6 espionage act. Bo Bergdahl was the one who went AWOL, not Manning. Manning was the one that went. See, there's so many of this crap. Is Bo Bergdahl going to come out as a transgender too to get out? This is probably the reason why Obama commuted Manning's sentence, is because he wanted to be a she. So if Bo Bergdahl wants to get out of his serving his full punishment, whatever that might be, he might want to say that instead of being male Bo, he might want to become like Bo Derek. Anybody remember her? Now they keep saying she, but he wasn't a she when he was sentenced and convicted of these crimes. So he was sentenced to 35 years in prison after a military judge found him guilty of 6 espionage act violations and multiple other charges relating to the dissemination of more than 700,000 classified military and State Department documents to WikiLeaks. And there are people that call him a hero. I don't know many people in the military that would call Bradley Chelsea Manning a hero, any more than they call Bo Bergdahl a hero. Just saying. And, this is what they're doing to our military. I mean, the liberal civilians are ripping our military apart and saying, "Hey, if you divulge classified information and intel and documents to somebody who allows them to get in the hands of our enemies, well, you don't have to serve your entire sentence. Just claim that you want to be the opposite sex, and then the president will a liberal Democratic president will commute your sentence." Airstrikes against ISIS hit an all-time high. Yes, indeed, airstrikes. For the first time since the war against the Islamic State began, U.S. and allied aircraft in August released more than 5,000 weapons in a single month. According to an air power summary posted online by U.S. Air Force Central Command, coalition aircraft released 5,075 weapons in August. That's well more than double the 2,244 released 1 year earlier, and more than the previous record of 4,848 weapons released in June. Coalition aircraft operating in Afghanistan also released 503 weapons in August, which is the most in 5 years. The last time monthly totals in Afghanistan was higher in August of 2012, when 589 weapons were released. When they say weapons released, they usually mean missiles or bombs, be they smart or dumb. And it really means that this president is starting to focus and hone in on actually trying to come up with a policy and a plan to win this, to actually win it, so we can bring our troops home and get the hell out of there. We can't stay there forever. I mean, seriously, we can't. So we've got to be able to see clearly for a way of through victory, a way to victory, and to be able to get out of the theater of war via victory. That is this week's military report for our military. Keep up the good work to all our military personnel who do work to keep our secrets secret, and who are working upon properly and accurately releasing our weapons of mass and non-mass destruction upon the enemy. Keep up the good work to our military. Today's holidays for Thursday, September 14th are... Today is, because it's almost lunchtime, Eat a Hoagie Day. This is a day dedicated to the hoagie. It's it's a regional term for a type of submarine sandwich. Did anybody say sandwich? Well, it is a submarine sandwich, and it's the name of a submarine sandwich that originated in and around Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Like submarine sandwiches, hoagies may consist of meats, cheeses, veggies, and condiments, which are placed on a sliced bun, roll, or other form of bread. Long, flat rolls are called hoagie rolls, are traditionally used for making hoagies. So there you have it. Today is the National Eat a Hoagie Day. It is also National Coloring Day. And it's not just for kiddies. So, because we have this plethora of adult coloring books now with adult crayons and coloring pencils and coloring pens. Today is National Coloring Day, and it's dedicated to coloring, whether it be with crayons, colored pencils, markers, or pens, or even chalk. So color today. Get out you can't do it tomorrow. I know some people will say, well, when you get home today, it's supposed to also relieve stress. This is why these adult coloring books have become so big. There's a bar in town here in Concord, New Hampshire, that has adult coloring pages, and they have coloring pencils on the tables in this bar. And you can, while you're imbibing in an adult beverage, usually a beer, because this is a beer bar, they don't have a lot of hard alcohol, or for mixed drinks and such. So it's I guess you call it a beer garden bar. So, but while you're imbibing in your beer, you can color these adult coloring pages. And by the way, what's the difference between a hoagie and a submarine sandwich? As far as I can tell, there is no difference. Just where it originates. There are certain parts of the country that call them hoagies, and certain part of the countries that call them submarines. Otherwise, there is no difference. And the bun. It's a submarine roll versus a hoagie roll. Well, what's the difference between that? I don't know. Today is also National Live Creative Day. It has something to do with Legos, just so you know. It is also National Cream-Filled Donut Day. Not just any day, any kind of donut, but a cream-filled donut. I happen to be very partial to those lemon cream-filled donuts. I really like those. But I haven't had one in a while. I don't eat a lot of donuts because they're not obviously not good for you. Maybe I should just screw it and just go out and get a donut today, huh? Today is also the exaltation of the Holy Cross. Yes, I'm going to guess that that's a Catholic day, and since I'm not Catholic, I know nothing about it. Those are the holidays for today, September 14th.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Nothing like having a little bit of a Spanish guitar to almost end out your broadcast day. But before we end the day, got to tell you about this fact. At least 11 mayors have been accused of child sex-related crimes since 2016. Yes, the resignation of Seattle Mayor Ed Murray yesterday came after a fifth man publicly accused him of molesting him as a child, and it was a relative. I think it's a cousin or something, or that is relative of Ed Murray. That is, and this is what drove Ed Murray to finally resign. Not that the four others were good enough, but a family member has come forward. And why does it take him so long? I don't know. But Murray isn't alone. At least 11. Then current and former mayors have been accused of child sex abuse-related crimes since 2016. The allegations range from child porn to actual physical abuse, and the victims have been to be reported as young as 4 years old. With that, Campus Reform is reporting that Duke is recruiting men for a program to fight toxic masculinity. I guess committing sexual acts on little boys, if you're a male, is a form of toxic masculinity. So Duke University is now seeking applicants for its Men's Project, a 9-week program that helps men examine how their masculinity exists, often in toxic ways. Because God forbid you'd want to be a real man the way you were born to be. The program, now in its second year, meets weekly at the university's Women's Center on campus, an on-campus office for students interested in learning how to resist patriarchal oppression. What exactly is patriarchal oppression? Well, Rod, you've got to take the class in order to understand your male masculinity, your toxicity of your male masculinity. No, I'll remain a proud guy. Thank you. There's anything naturally or innately wrong with being a male. Just like there's nothing wrong with innately and naturally being a female. Nothing. How come we don't have toxic femininity? Feminism. We don't have classes on toxic feminism. There is toxic feminism. Well, there may be some hope out there for us guys, and I say this loosely, but finally today, the number of stay-at-home dads falls as novelty of being a new man wears off. So in other words, being a wimpy, mamby-pamby pajama boy is evidently fading. And it's fading for two reasons. One, because men, it's going against the nature of mankind itself, men themselves. It's innate and born within us to be more aggressive. And two, women don't like wimpy, mamby-pamby pajama boys. So on one hand, you got all these toxic feminists out there trying to drag us through these stupid classes of taking masculinity out of us, while women, normal women, want masculine men. They want men to go out there and get and win the bacon, bring home the bacon. They don't want to be the actual. They don't mind being the breadwinner, but they don't want to be the primary breadwinner. Most women do not, which is really, they want to be the ones that take care of the kids. But I know, go figure. We're finding this stuff out. These studies are coming out that, men would rather be out there in hunting, working, and women would rather be at home nurturing and raising. I know. We've said this for years and years and years and years, but now that there's studies coming out on this stuff, and now we're starting to see men getting sick and tired of being feminized, and they're starting to go the opposite direction. If you're going to be at home, you should at least be if stay-at-home dad, you should be a stay-at-home business owner dad. The trend appears to be reversing, with the number falling sharply to a 3-year low, and experts say the novelty of being a new man is wearing off. You think? It's about damn time it's wearing off. I mean, guys are not meant to be stay-at-home being a female. That's just not what we're designed to do. By nature, Mother Nature. And we talk about Mother Nature and everything else, but when it comes to Mother Nature and human beings, God forbid we actually follow our innate abilities, right? I know. You can't make this stuff up, though. In any case, I can't make this up that we're out of time for today, but we will be back here tomorrow for Friday. Open Mic Friday, almost anything goes, so be here for Freedom Friday. Until then, have a wonderful Thursday afternoon. I'm Rod Eccles. Thanks for tuning in. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Left dogs in the press, keep the mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.